All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Ripping the Pitch, episode number 4. My name is Zach, aka Primetime Collecting. We are here with Turtle and Amit. How are we doing,
What's going on,
guys?
fellas?
Fantastic. How are you?
Doing
I feel
amazing.
like
Amazing now that we're
I feel like
here.
it's been ages since we did one of these.
I know it's been way too
Like
long. Way
like
too
3 days.
long. But you know what's crazy? In a matter of 3 days, there was actually a whole lot
Lost.
of stuff, especially today, that went down in the footy world, including some incredibly crazy stuff happening in the Champions League. Did you guys get to catch any of the games?
I worked
Yes.
today, so no.
Okay. Amit, what about you?
Yeah, I watched almost the whole Arsenal game. It was terrible. And then I caught all the highlights from a couple of other games, Milan versus Bruges. But the biggest highlight of the day was the Real Madrid comeback versus Dortmund.
Yeah.
A
I
real
mean,
story of two halves.
that was pure insanity. It really was. So, I mean, let's start with the Milan game because that was the first game that was on, and I got to catch the whole second half pretty much. I actually forgot Champions League was on today, and then I was watching some of the Stadium Club breaks, and someone had mentioned that Pulisic just scored a worldie, and of course, it was an Olympico. Did you guys see it?
I've seen it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's why we love America, right there,
Ooh,
Captain America.
He's on fire. He's on
He
fire.
is on fire. He's having
seriously.
an unreal season at Milan. And yeah, it doesn't 100% transfer over to US squad. And that's, I think, more of a story about the squad than him. Because I think when you do surround him with good players like you see at Milan, he is a really, really, really good player.
Yeah, but he's got to be able to step up and do that at a certain level with the United States team. I'm not saying win the World Cup, but against certain competition in CONCACAF, it shouldn't. His talent and his skill should show off more.
I agree. I think at the same time, too, it is very much, we don't have guys like, let me say Ronaldinho as an example. Like for me, I remember at any point in a game, Ronaldinho could go and take over it. Who do we have that in our game now? You have maybe Vinny, who we saw today, and you don't even see it that much from him. You know, I think that Pulisic is doing a good job with what he's given on the international game, but I think his skill really shows off a whole lot more the better he's surrounded by. I don't think and it's the same thing like I just said Vinny as an example. Like Vinny is surrounded by incredible talent at Real Madrid, right? Like the best. But at the same time, he's not necessarily taking over the world game with Brazil either. He plays good, but he doesn't have any of those captivating type of performances like he just did for Madrid there. Why? Because maybe the talent isn't as good, you know?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the players that you're surrounded by, and also the system that you're playing in.
Hmm.
Some systems just suit players a lot better, and you have managers that get to be with them, around the clock, around the year, and they get the best out of them. The USA manager or the international managers get like 2 weeks every couple months or whatever. So it's harder to build that chemistry with the manager and the other players.
Hmm.
Look, I'm a goalie. I got to stop the shot, no matter if I'm playing for my national team or if I'm playing for my club team. So I assume it should be the same way for a striker. You need to make a goal whether you're playing for your club team or you're playing for your international team. No excuses.
Yeah,
Sure,
But
absolutely.
Amir is
I'm gonna
absolutely right. When you only get 2 weeks of practice with some of the team, that's you're not going to get. But every team has that though. So that's the equalizer,
yeah,
right? Like you, yes, the U.S. only gets a week or two practice, but so does Mexico. So does
sure.
England. So does
and we've been complaining that it's too much, too many
yeah, it's
international
true.
breaks.
It's it's too much that I forgot there was even games today because we had just had Nations League
Yeah.
over the weekend. Now we're back with Champions League. Or over the week, and then it was League on the weekend, and now it's Champions League on Tuesday. It's like holy smokes! I forgot there was stuff. I want a quick sidebar, Turtle, because I know you are a Mexico fan, correct?
Allegedly, no, I am.
How do you feel about this Pochettino signing for USA? Does it make you nervous? Do you feel
I
like
think we
USA is
talked
still
about it
going
a few
downhill?
weeks ago when it happened. I don't like it because I think it makes the U.S. better. So I don't like it. And that's the ultimate compliment I can give is I think it means bad news for Mexico. Now I like where Mexico's kind of going. I wish Rafa Marquez would take over completely, but they have a lot further to go than the U.S. does for sure. But I do. I mean, he is a world class coach, and that's just that's great for the United States national.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think he's incredible. Do you have thoughts, Amit?
I mean, Mexico still got the result.
Oh, come on! In the friendly with the C teams, stop. I will never count that as a friendly with starters not playing. Is that's not even on the record. I'm not. That does. I don't consider that a victory or a defeat or anything. That's a money grab and a.
It wasn't.
Let's look.
It was not the C team. It was like the A- team.
We need to put a poll in the
The guy
Discord.
you were
What
just
matters
talking
more?
about, Pulisic, didn't play. I mean, 5, 6 big time starters for the U.S. didn't play. Several starters from Mexico didn't play. It doesn't mean anything. It's truly, it's not reflective of where Mexico is, where the U.S. is, or where either team is versus the top 15 to 20 teams in the world, which is what they need to know going into the World Cup.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I think for me, like as a USA fan, my biggest concern with the Pochettino signing, I agree with everything you said. He is a world-class manager. I'm just worried that our player pool isn't deep enough to actually meet the needs of what he wants out of a squad. And I know we have good talent in certain areas, but it doesn't cover the whole pitch yet. And I think the way that he plays, I'm not sold that our squad fits it yet. So it's going to have to take a few months/years, hopefully not too long before 2026 comes around, to prove it to me that I'll believe in them. But I mean, I think it's a good start. It's going to be interesting how he uses Pulisic. And we've had this long debate over the last, whenever before the World Cup started, of who is the striker for the U.S., and we still don't have an answer. We're 4 years removed from that, almost 3-4 years. So it's like, who's going to step up and who is he going to put in the place? Is it going to be Sargent? Is it going to be Balogun? Who knows? Like, I personally haven't been super impressed with Balogun's results. He's had 1 or 2 really good goals, really good games. I like Sargent. Some people like Haji Wright. I don't mind Haji Wright. So it's like it's this mixture of everybody's too equal. Someone's going to have to step up. And I think part of that is in the manager pulling it out of them, trying to figure out who really wants this number 1 role. And so it's going to be interesting how he handles that. And
I think
forces somebody to step up.
I think the interesting angle is Giovanni Reina. Like, can he?
Oh, that's another one.
Now that whole drama of the helicopter parents and everything else is gone, can he play for Pochettino, or can Pochettino get out of him? Because he is a player that can dribble around 2 or 3 guys and make something happen that the U.S. doesn't really have other than him. So I'm interested to see what he can do, get back into that form that he had with Dortmund, and I don't know, but I mean, I think that is maybe more key to the U.S. than anything.
Yep, I agree. I mean, listen, and here's my hobby take on this, right? For USA and Pochettino in general, by the LeBron James of soccer. He's in his Cleveland Cavs era. Okay, he's going for rings, and fade everybody else. I mean, it's hard to say who's going to step up and do what. I like Gio Reyna. I agree. I think he should have a starting role. It's just a matter of where do you put him and how do you make it work in the system. But I think Pulisic, even at his high prices, is still a good buy. I think by 2026 he's going to be hot.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
From
having a World Cup at in the U.S.
Maybe Turtle, we can get a card with Pulisic wearing goalie gloves for you.
I still don't think I would get it. I don't know. Like, do I want the Antoine Griezmann tops now goalie card or whatever? Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm torn.
The Giroud? Did they ever make a Giroud?
Giroud, that's who it was. Olivier Giroud.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know if they. You know what? If they made one, I probably would want it. To be fair, that would be interesting. But
that's because he actually played goalie.
Well, he did for like 20 minutes. Made a couple of. He did not look pretty doing it, but
yeah. And there was one other big Champions League game, and Amit had mentioned it today. Dortmund and Madrid, guys. What a game. I mean, that was unreal. If you guys didn't get to see it, it was halftime. I was leaving my house as I had the Golazo show on. They show all the scores, right? I'm leaving my house, and I peek over, and I see Dortmund up 2-0 on Madrid at halftime. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That game's over already. Like, that was quick. And I come back home from picking up my kids, and all of a sudden I see Vinny Jr. scoring the 5th goal, and it's 5-2 Madrid. I was like, what in the world happened? So I didn't get to see the second half. What actually happened?
Out at halftime. I mean, and like, there's actually like I saw, I don't even know if it was a meme or a video or whatever earlier today, but they're like, they took Gittins out and the entire team fell apart. And I'm not saying he is that good or whatever. He is a good player, but I mean, like, it's weird though that they took him out at halftime, thinking they were going to cruise in the second half, and it just fell apart. Like, it was 3 or 4 minutes after that substitution, first goal for Real Madrid, and it was just boom, boom.
Yeah, it was a change of sub and a change of formation.
Yeah.
Put in a defender for
so like a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, they switched.
And it just didn't work.
They switched to a back five, and I was listening to the post game. I think it was Henry who had said, that they had just simply switched to a back five too quickly. That they were defending perfectly fine with the back four, and they decided, okay, we're just going to sit back now because it's this high-powered team. And at the end of the day, that ended up biting them in the butt.
Crashed the bus instead of parking the bus.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. But it's one of those things. This is a highlight moment, I think, and a big, hopefully big turning point for Madrid, because we all expected very, very big things out of Madrid, and we've gotten some good stuff, but it hasn't been that exponentially, exciting and good play. And I think that second half, from the highlights that I saw, it looked incredible. It looked like Vinny Jr. just kind of grabbed the bull by the horns and ran away with that game himself and just kind of willed the team to scoring goals. I think that's a big deal, and I think,
where's Bellingham and Mbappe, though?
Well, I mean, I think you don't see them on the score sheet, but they had a big impact. I mean, Bellingham should have scored a goal like twice. Mbappe created the first goal.
There's the star.
They said hi. You say hi.
I mean,
okay.
To your point, you can't have them on the pitch and them not affect the game. I understand that, but they also need to get on the score sheet, and while they scored 5 goals and there's not enough goals to go around when Vinny's scoring a hat trick, there's still something interesting about all those people, and there's only one ball,
No, I agree. Yeah, I think Mbappe is kind of missing some goals in his game right now. But if you're watching the games, he's creating a lot. He's doing a lot. He's doing the Mbappe thing, just passing by any player in front of him, but he's not finishing. But he is creating, assisting, and beating players. So,
I mean, I think at the end of the day, the 5-2, like, those guys not being on the score sheet, does it matter? Yes. Does it matter? No, at the same time, because they're getting the result, and I think they are still figuring out how to play as a team. Like, it was very imminent and clear in the very beginning, and it's still the beginning stages. They did not gel very well. There was no sign of chemistry between the Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Mbappe front three. Jude Bellingham goes out, and it looks even worse. Like, so now Jude is back. That's a great sign. You're going to have games where Mbappe scores 3. You're going to have games where Vinny Jr. scores 3. It's just natural, and it's going to happen. They're going to keep racking up the score sheet, though, over the season. It's going to get better and better all throughout the year.
Yeah.
And one other thing from a hobby perspective for today's Champions League, Yorkes scored a goal for Sporting. That's interesting. Nice to see one of our rookie chasers get on the score sheet for a Champions League.
He scores in every game.
He does.
He does.
And it's amazing. It's so good. And it's such a shame that he's not in Stadium Club.
That is a good point.
Oh, my gosh.
A good point. The fact that
huge disappointment. I mean, I get it. Sporting wasn't one of those 20 teams that made it. But, I mean, that feels like, as good as Stadium Club is, and we're going to get into it a little bit, that feels like the biggest miss in Stadium Club for sure. All right, guys. So You have any other thoughts?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, let's get into it. So, I don't know if you guys got the chance to today. I know I spent a good amount of time and spent a good amount of money jumping into some of Vita's early access Stadium Club Chrome breaks. Did you guys get to catch any?
I watched a little bit of it today. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. Yep.
Cool deal. So, we got to see both Hobby and Breaker's Delight get ripped. Hobby is 1 auto per box and a few parallels. Breaker's Delight is 2 autos per box. I think it was 2 numbered parallels and like an exclusive Breaker's Delight parallel that's not numbered. What were your guys' thoughts after actually getting to see the product?
The big cards are freaking awesome.
Oh yeah,
The 25s, the 10s, the they just look really nice. They look really cool. Those autos. I think he hit a Camarda auto in another break, and he posted that earlier, and it was to 5 or something, and it looked just. I mean, it was a red with that red and black kit. It was just a great card of a nice rookie, and it. Stadium Club. What Stadium Club does better than anything, maybe, is just that artistic look on a card. So,
Amit?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was my favorite thing is just watching even the base cards come out, just like the player photos. Just you only get a couple of them in the preview, and then you start to watch the breaks, and you can see all these like the photos that they decide to use for each card. And some players have multiple photos, and I love that. Like Zidane has a cool base card where he's holding a trophy. And then I looked into that led me down a rabbit hole of cards of players holding trophies, and I realized that they actually do very well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it. I mean, those are like iconic moments, iconic pictures for a lot of those people. But again, most of the time, you're going to see those being Stadium Club cards. So after watching a little bit, for me, the thing that stuck out, like the cards are amazing. I very much expected that. There was a massive difference for me in what you were pulling from Hobby and Breaker's Delight. I thought you were getting so much better color and so many better autos coming out of Breaker's Delight. Now, naturally, it's going to happen because there was 2 autos per box in Breaker's Delight versus 1 in Hobby. But at the same time, I saw all 4 of his Breaker's Delight cases get ripped. That's 48 boxes. There was not one box that had 2 base autos. There was always one color auto in them. Base and a numbered. A lot of times there was 2 numbered, like there was 2 golds in a few boxes. There was like a red and a gold or a red and a green. Like there was a great combination of colors for the autos, which made a great big difference in the value.
I thought I saw a review, Soccer Cards HQ maybe or something, that said 6 of the 12 numbered autos were numbered 50 or less, or something like that. So you're getting
the odds came out. The odds came out recently.
So there's 12 base autos, 12 numbered autos, but of the 12 numbered, 6 are 50 or less, which makes sense. It's a 725, 700 case run. So the product that's going to be in those is going to be super low numbered, right? Like
that was the next thing. That was the next thing I was going to bring up about it is that a 700 case print run for any Topps product is really like almost unheard of. They never print stuff that low. So I think it's really cool that we have that low of a print run for our cases for this Breaker's Delight. Now, at the same time, as that news keeps going around, and people see how good it is, sadly, it is going to end up hiking the prices up a little bit. But that's to come with it. That's, ask and you shall receive. It's just going to come with a cost.
400 get ripped the first week. There's only going to be 300 left, and there's only going to be 2 or 3 people with it instead of 20 people with it on release day. And I mean,
exactly.
And eventually, in 6 months, it'll be one of those like the 2014 Prism or something. Like you just once every couple of months, somebody has a break with it, and it's oh my god, somebody found a case of that.
100%. 100%. So, but I think overall, I mean, as more Stadium Club Hobby gets ripped, people will like it more and more for the value that it is. Being only 225 bucks a box. At the end of the day, it's still pretty good value. You get really nice cards out of it. You just wish there was a little bit more color autos.
He had a
The
really
Beam
good
team
case. His
was
last
incredible.
hobby case was really good. That was the one that the stadium seat came out of.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, he said that the rivals card, the Ronaldinho Zidane card, came out
Oh
with
yes,
hobby as well.
that
It was a
redemption.
redemption because we think because it's just such a big card, they didn't want to ship it.
Yeah,
But that came out of
which
hobby
makes
as well.
sense.
So hobby still has some big potential cards in it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the last thing for me on the Breakers Delight, the 32 and 32 are really cool.
I actually haven't seen
I'm
one.
still I'm still trying to understand what it is. It's just one card and there's 32 of it. It's a 32 print run.
Yep.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it's like multiple different pictures for a team because some of the cards are just like one player on a team or like two players, and then some of the cards are like 10 players on the team.
Right.
So they're not just team picks. They're, I don't know, some sort of special moment in that team's history, I guess, or from
Yeah, that's what I was
last
gonna
year.
say. I think for the most part, it's them trying to highlight some sort of iconic moment for the club in the Champions League.
hmm
The United card is like an old picture. It's got Ole
Oh, really?
sliding on his knees. Yeah,
Oh,
That's
that
it's
cool.
goal that
definitely
he
not
scored.
from any
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Oh, so,
Yeah, the
so it's
goal I think
not
it was against
just from
Bayern.
this year's, like how they
No.
qualified for this year's Champions League. It's the history of the Champions League for that team.
Yeah, the Arsenal one is a picture of Henri
Oh,
when they played Madrid, I think in like 06,
Okay.
something like that. So it's a very cool mixture. And it's nice that I think the parallels are either out of 32 or 101. I don't think there's any other parallels unless I read the checklist wrong.
Also, there's only a 1 of 1 or up to 32. Okay, that's interesting. No 5, no 10, no 25.
I don't think so. We'll have to double check that. From what I could see, I thought it was just out of 32 and 101.
That makes sense because Vital said they're about 1 to 2 per case. And if you do the math,
Right.
that puts it at about 1,100 total cards. And that would make sense for a 700 case run, is that you would get one
Right.
and a half or so per case. So
Yep.
that's interesting. Man, the 1-on-1s of those are going to be.
Whew, those are going to be big cards. Big cards. People are going to love them. Just other thoughts here, guys. Like the behind the lens autos look really cool. Really, really nice card design. The classic kits in the Breakers Light. That's the other thing that's Breakers Light exclusive is those classic kits. Really solid.
That's the
looking.
91 Stadium Club throwback, or is that a different one? Because there's a throwback to the 91 Stadium Club, that iconic baseball card.
I think that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really good design. It looks awesome. The old school jerseys are great. I love that. And I think my favorite insert outside of Beam Team, because Beam Team is so classic, a new one, the Say Cheese looks really cool.
No,
I love that card.
I hate
Dude.
it. It's terrible.
What? No way.
It's terrible.
That's a fun little design.
No, it's not.
It's for little kids. It's for
No,
I
it
think
would
it's
have
for
been better if they had let a little kid design it. They should have let a little kid design it, and then it would have been fine. But they tried to design it like how a little kid would, and it came out it's too cartoonish, and like I don't. I'd rather have a kid's finger painting than that. Honestly.
Well, I can send you plenty of those. That's not a problem.
I still have 7 or 8 on this page. So.
I don't know. For me, it's something about the way, and maybe it was just the color parallels that I saw, but I really like the way the color popped with them. So, any other insert sets or thoughts on it, guys, that really like caught your eye?
I'm waiting to rip it myself and see it firsthand. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, same. Likewise, I want to see how the card quality is. I want to see if it's similar to Chrome and Merlin, because those had some issues.
Yeah. I hope it's much better. We want something that can actually, decently grade out for us.
And
I'm still
they
mad.
looked better. Like they popped on the screen for when I was watching.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm still mad they didn't include Gyökeres, but I'll let that go eventually. But yeah, you guys can get in our Stadium Club breaks. Turtles on Wednesday on Whatnot. Are you gonna be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well?
Probably Friday and Sunday. We'll see. Yeah,
Friday,
we'll definitely
Sunday.
be doing it every couple of days.
Okay,
I've got 3 hobby cases and 5 delight, so plenty.
awesome. And I'll be on Fanatics, and then I know Amit is going to be on Fanatics as well. I think next week for you, right?
Yep.
Yep. And I'll get on whenever UPS decides to actually do their job. Who knows when that's actually going to be. Now, there are some big upcoming games coming up. There's some big Champions League action tomorrow. There's some big EPL action, especially for you and Meet this weekend. And the MLS playoffs started. As of today, as you can see in the background for Turtle, I think it's 2-2 now.
Yeah,
so let's.
They might be going to penalties any second here.
There you go. Let's start going over some of this Champions League stuff. So one that stuck out to me that I like this game, it should be an interesting game. I think it's, from my understanding of his new role, it's kind of a Klopp battle, RB Leipzig versus Liverpool. Is it? Am I correct that Klopp is now involved with RB Leipzig, or was I reading that wrong? I thought he was
correct.
a part of the, yeah. So interesting little Klopp battle here. RB Leipzig versus Liverpool, especially with Liverpool going into the big game on the weekend. Do you think they're going to start all their starters?
I mean, Liverpool's a deep team, so they can rotate and still be, quality. I think they'll mix it up a little bit.
I think it's still
Especially,
too early to not play most of your starters. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like in this group,
yeah. Darwin's not a starter, but he can definitely start this game.
Yeah, he can hit the post all day long.
Somebody get the rebound. But it's still so early in this large group stage that if you give up points by not starting your big players, it might come back to bite you. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Later on, there might be that strategy that you're going to have to give some guys some rest, but I think it's a little early.
Yeah, I agree. I think Gakpo needs more highlight time with Liverpool. I think he's actually really good. He just needs more opportunity.
I mean, he produced in the World Cup. I think he's really good. He just needs a chance to get playing time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Gakpo over Nunez, in my opinion.
What about Barcelona, Bayern Munich?
That was the next game I was going to get into. You jumped the gun, man. That's a big one.
I would have gone to that first. I mean,
Well, let me ask you this because you're the goalie expert. Is this our first Szczesny game?
I think it might be. Yes. Yes.
That's kind of exciting.
I thought Szczesny said he's not the starter, and
is he really?
He's just there for backup.
Oh,
I think
but
that's a little disappointing.
He's also just trolling everyone all the time.
Well,
so.
I would be after you retire and then you come back to play for that team. I think I'd be trolling people too.
Yeah,
it's a good gig.
I don't know. I'd like to see him in the Barca squad. He's an all timer.
I think he can probably still get it done. As much as I am a goalie, and I do believe every once in a while a goalie can truly win a game for you. That's not the most important thing. I mean, honestly, if you've got 2 good goalies, it doesn't matter which one you put in net. You know what I mean? We're not talking about the U.S. team who's going to play in goal. You know what I mean? We're not talking about Mexico who's going to be a goalie. It's now Courtois in the Champions League can save Real Madrid's bacon every once in a while, but
yeah, that's
for
sure.
the most part, it's not the key. Reality. That's why I can get my cards for 5% on the dollar of my collection.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you guys this then: who do you guys see winning this one, Bayern, Barca?
I think Bayern.
I'm gonna go Barca.
All right.
I'm gonna go Barca.
See, I think
they have home
Amit.
field advantage, but
I think I'm gonna go with the young kids, and they're gonna have. I think at some point, all these games is gonna start catching up to the older teams.
I don't know, man. That Bayern team is on fire. Harry Kane with 3 hat tricks over the past 2 months. That is impressive.
You talk about hot players. That he is. Wow. Yes.
I think this game could get out of hand. Actually, I really think that Bayern could actually trample this Barca team. I really do. I think they could manhandle them.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. I think that's more possible than Barcelona trampling over Bayern.
Yeah.
But looking at the midfield, I think there's so many like interesting battles that can happen here. Like nice matchups. You have Lamine versus Davies potentially.
Advantage Lamine.
The young midfield of Barcelona versus the old dudes of Bayern. Like Casado has been doing really well, so I wonder how he's
Yeah.
going to do versus like Kimmich and whoever. What's his name? Pavlovich got injured, so probably Paulinho. But that's going to be a lot of interesting battles there that we never get to see because this type of matchup can only happen in the finals or semifinals.
Right. It should be a hell of a matchup, though. I mean, they're two teams that have definitely been clicking. Like, don't hear what I'm not saying. Barca has been playing really good all season, too.
But they
But
still perfect in La Liga? I think so, right? Like 7 wins for 7 games.
I'm not positive.
Or something like that.
I know they were doing really, really good.
I think they have one loss, maybe, recently.
Yeah. Oh, you know who they lost to? They lost in Champions League.
Really? They
To
didn't-
Monaco? Was it
They lost to
Monaco?
Monaco in the oh, well, okay. Well,
Yeah, they lost
Champions
to Monaco,
League. Yeah.
and then they lost to Osasuna in the league.
Yeah. So I don't know. It feels like Bayern is too hot. I would take Bayern in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Harry Kane brace.
I'm taking Barcelona 2-1.
We'll check up
Yeah.
next week on it then. How
I'm
about
not
this?
betting
let's
on it,
hope
so,
Lamine-
so it
Let's
doesn't
hope
matter.
Lamine scores a
I'm
hat
not
trick.
putting any money,
And,
Yeah.
I'm not putting any money on it. But
Lamine Yamal
Lamine?
should score a couple goals, but Bayern will still.
I actually think Lewandowski
Yeah.
gets it. How about that?
Oof. Ugh. We'll talk about an overrated player. That's for another day.
Overrated? Whoa. Okay,
I'm
we're
not.
putting that for next week. You're going to tell
You can
me
clip that. We can talk about
Lewandowski's overrated?
Lewandowski later.
Wow. I think he's underrated. So this is going to be great.
Nah.
We're going to table that for next week.
We'll table that one
Topic.
because we still got one more big one. We got Arsenal Liverpool to go
That's
over
not
here.
good. That's Liverpool.
Amit, how you feeling, dude? You excited, nervous, scared?
Terrible. It's going to be terrible. I don't even want to watch it. It's not going to be a good one. Arsenal's playing like a mid-table team right now.
Uh-huh.
Liverpool's playing like, I don't know, third place, second place team. So it's not going to be a good game. Luckily it's at home. It's a home game. That's our only chance. But we're missing a lot of key players, and just everything's looking terrible right now. Our chemistry, our ball movement, chance
Mhm.
creation, it's all way down. I'm
So
not
what you're-
optimistic.
What you're saying is Arsenal is the new Manchester United. Because that's what I've felt for the past 10 years.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far because that took many years to develop.
It did take a lot of years to develop. You're right. It took skill.
But it feels like it. It does feel like it. Like last weekend, United got a great win. Arsenal had a brutal loss, and it just felt like the roles were reversed. But it's only going to last.
Arsenal won today in the Champions League.
Yeah, but the game. If you watch the game, you can see.
We said results, right? 1-0 is 3 points.
Again, but look, the team we're facing was very weak, much weaker than. We should have beat them like 5-0. No offense to Shakhtar, but
Yeah, it
it
should
was
have been
just-
trampling.
yeah.
Now, the good thing is
And
for you
at the end of the
guys-
day, it was a close game. They could have won. If that was an away game, we would have lost for sure.
Well,
But yeah, Arsenal's not looking good at all. I'm not looking forward to that
I
one.
just saw Barcelona's 9-0-1 in the La Liga, and you're right, they lost to Osasuna.
Yeah.
So that's still, I mean,
Still very good, yeah.
9 out of
Win
10
every
wins is, man, you're getting it done. So although
Mhm.
they haven't played, Clasico hasn't happened yet, so that could be. That's going to be interesting.
You guys have one more day rest than Liverpool, right?
Oh.
Because Liverpool plays tomorrow.
It's true.
So, I mean, with how many games we've been having,
that's
those little
exactly
advantages
it.
actually matter.
That's a thing now. That extra
Yeah.
day is
It's very much a thing.
a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had a similar type of thing when we played Man City. They had an extra day of rest as well, and the same thing. Yeah, it's interesting how that works out.
All right. Anything else on Arsenal Liverpool?
No, I think the question penalties are being taken. Oh, God, I thought you saved that one too. I think it goes down to, like you said, that's who's going to start versus going to sit for the next guy. This is the one good thing about all these games is that strategy piece. We all get to talk about why didn't he start this guy, or should he have started this guy, or what's more important. Champions League versus the Premier League versus. Like it's the eternal debate, right? If you ask
Mm-hmm.
the team that won the Premier League last year, Champions League is more important. If you ask the team that won the Champions League last year, their local, their country league is more important. So it's an interesting question with all these games. Who's going to play when?
Mm-hmm. You guys, if you guys have anything to say on MLS playoffs, I mean, go ahead. Do you got a winner?
The Atlanta game is in penalties right now. I believe Atlanta is up 4-3. No, it's 4-4, but Atlanta is taking their fifth penalty. So if they make it, they win the game. Brad Gusson did have a very nice save on the second penalty shot. That's the only one that's been missed so far. So if Atlanta makes this one right here, they will advance to play Messi. And it is a big deal. I mean, if you think about because you are guaranteed a home game in the next round. So for Atlanta and the Atlanta market to have Messi come to town again for a game, it's a lot of millions of dollars that are going to be spent in the local market if he makes this shot right here, which he does.
Done deal. Look at that.
I tell you what though, Atlanta won the game and I was rooting for that, but that last penalty shot, he did a little stagger step that as a goalie, I do not think that should be allowed. That is pretty dirty. I mean, he came to a full stop, and midway.
Yeah, those are tough.
Man, I don't know. They really, they really need to regulate that penalty shots. There should be a little bit more tightening of the rules on what they can do as they're approaching the shot and stuff. So
it's just they're much tighter on the keepers than the
exactly.
shooters.
They tightened up on us. Why can't they tighten up on the shooter? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they did change the rule where you have to be once you're moving forward, you have to continue moving forward. You can't stop your motion at any point.
I don't know if they'll
Um,
but
I think there's definitely.
But what's the definition of motion?
Right. I mean, his arms were waving,
right?
but his feet were stopped. I mean, what
It's like if your body's moving forward, you can't stop or move back. Even it's like a balk in baseball.
Now, I agree with the rules they put on the goalies. I have no problem as long as we can be on our line, we can move side to side. They shouldn't be past the line when the shot is taken. I have no problem with that. Those rules that they did put in place, and I don't like the goalies being clowns and beating on the bar and going up to the kicker and getting in their face and all that stuff. That's not appropriate. But the shooters do need to be, if they're going to make those rules on the goalie and make me stay on my line until the shot's taken, there needs to be some consistency with when the shot's going to come. And the stutter step and all that stuff. It's just getting to the point where it's being abused and it's not being called by the refs, and it needs to be at some point.
See, I think the fix to all of it is to just completely change it and go to the old school
MLS one-on-one,
I
baby.
loved those. Those were the best. Yeah. Bring that to the World Cup, baby. Come on.
How about that for a topic for the next one? Rules you would change in the game. I think
easy.
I've got one that I've been saying for years, but let's table that for a topic for next time.
Do you guys think it's Miami? I think it's Miami. Miami takes this,
they
right?
won the most points in the history of the league, and
I would love that.
It's Barcelona's over 35 team, so yeah, they should win MLS, right?
And if it's scripted, it's definitely scripted towards Miami.
It doesn't have to be scripted.
All signs. No,
I can't figure out is how did they put this team together? I guess it's legal or whatever, but I always thought you could only have so many international players in MLS, and you had to have so much local players. These guys are throwing 9 and 10 Barcelona players on the pitch, and they want to get more. They want to go and get Modric, and they want to go and get KDB and all.
David
Whatever. It's
Beckham.
like Like how are they bending the rules like Beckham? I don't understand.
It's called Messi. It's just it's the Messi effect, man. That'll do it.
Boo.
I don't know.
I do have to throw out, because I'm from SoCal, that LAFC is pretty good.
They are.
LAFC is good.
Miami has to watch out.
Yeah, I mean Columbus is a great team too. They play Miami tough every time. So that would be a fun Eastern Conference final. I will say this, ever since Messi's come over, I mean, I used to watch a good amount of MLS, but I've definitely watched way more MLS since Messi's been here than before.
There's no question that it has been overall positive for the sport we love in this country. There's no question. In this area, I mean, even though Atlanta's had a good soccer foundation with Atlanta United since they started, it's bigger when he's in town. It just is. And that's everywhere he goes. It's that effect, and that's nothing but positive for soccer in the United States. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's come to the MLS. I hope more players do this. I hope we can keep some younger players in MLS. That's what I think the league needs to do to step into the future. Is these guys that like Alvarez, who left Atlanta United to go to Europe, and all these players that they go to Europe, and it would be great to keep them in MLS, pay them more and keep them in MLS and become a world-class league. That's how you're going to become a world-class league, not farming out your good young players, but keeping them, bringing the veterans as well, and then you have a mix of both. I would love to see that. I would love to see MLS become a top 5 league in the world. Right now it's top 15 or whatever. I mean, let's be honest.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely still got a long ways to go, but I mean, the eyes on it is, I think, step number 1. I think you have to get people and kids interested in it. That's the only way to get the top athletes and the youth to actually want to play and continue to play. So, all right, guys, any other thoughts on anything we talked about today? Awesome. Well, guys, this was episode number 4 of Ripping the Pitch. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe, and then make sure you're checking out our Whatnot and Fanatics so you can jump in our Stadium Club breaks.
You're going to need to re-record that, dub that over. Or do it again now. I remember this is episode 4.5.
That's right, episode 4.5. It should be recording all of my stuff in an individual track, so it should be good. I just have to dub it over your faces.
Well, it's okay that we didn't record that one because I wasn't on that one, so it really didn't count anyway.
That's right. 100%. 100%. So